Hey, folks, we'll get started in just a minute or two. Hey, folks, thanks for joining us. We'll go ahead and get started now. Um, Welcome to the monthly Prime Guidance webinar, where some of our consultants and myself talk shop regarding all things marketplaces. And today we have a special guest, Carrie Miller, on. Welcome, Carrie.
Hey everyone, so glad I'm
Hey,
happy to be
Carrie.
here. Thanks for having
Yeah,
me.
great to have you. We're gonna mix it up a little bit different today. Today we're gonna really kind of pick Carrie's brain. You know, what's new with Helium 10? You know, anything that's upcoming. Different ways that our customers are able to fully leverage Helium 10, and then we'll shift into more of our standard talk shop topics. So again, welcome, Carrie. So glad that
Thank
you're
you.
here. I'll really allow you to kind of share any maybe recent updates people may not be aware of, or what have you, and then I'm sure we're all going to be picking your brain.
All right. So I have some updates, and then there's one tool I feel like is a sleeper tool that I wanted to talk about because some people don't even know it exists. So
Great.
sometimes there's things that have been around for a little while, but then you guys kind of don't know about them. Maybe they just kind of didn't get communicated well enough. But I'll go ahead
Mm-hmm.
and share my screen.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is the login for Helium 10, and the first one I'm going to start off with is my absolute favorite tool, and it's the historical trend in Cerebro. Okay, so I'm actually going to just paste an ASIN. This is our coffin shelf ASIN, and I'm going to hit get keywords. And for some reason that did not work. Uh-oh, let me go from here. Let's see if I can just go from here. Then Cerebro. Some sort of bug on that other screen. Okay, so here we go with a Cerebro search. I've just did one ASIN, and this particular strategy works best just one at a time. We are going to improve for a multi-search, but this is the historical trend. Are you guys familiar with the historical trend?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is like probably my favorite tool ever, and
We
so I
love it.
always
Yeah.
just start with it because I've seen a lot of insights, and I've been able to kind of go back in time to see what was, what's done well and what's not. One thing, like for example, I was keeping an eye on this one. And I saw May of 2024. I mean, this is a coffin shelf. All of a sudden, it had like a pretty big spike. And so, you can look in here, and I realized that May is Mother's Day. And so maybe there's some mothers out there that are really into Gothic decor or something like that, because it's a coffin shelf and it sells year round, which is interesting. But you basically can go back in time to any month in the last 24 months, and you can see where any ASIN was ranking organically and where they were showing up for the sponsored ranks. So you can filter it, by organic rank here if you want to. You can, filter based on, the phrases containing. Sometimes I'll do like gifts or, Prime Day because I want to see Prime type keywords or whatever it is. I kind of like to filter that way, and I find so many keywords. And a lot of times it's funny because the strategy people say is like, you can do some auto campaigns, kind of see if you can fish some new keywords and find things that people are searching for in the holidays. But with this, you can get ahead of it, and you're already knowing what people are probably going to search for with this information. And you're pretty much ahead of the game for, Q4, for Prime Day, for Black Friday, for all of those. So I would say this is a sleeper tool. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people don't pay attention to it. So I always call attention to it because it's probably one of the greatest tools, and you can go back and see search volume. This is going to be the highest search volume of that month period. That's what we took to just kind of show what the potential is for each of those months. So that's what the number is that you see here, because usually it's like a 30-day average that you're going to see on there on Cerebro. So we are going to be, sorry, what?
I was just going to say, we've always told our clients, like, capture data. Like if you're going through July and, Prime Day impacted, performance, make a postmortem. What keywords produced the best results? What did your competitors do on promotional activity and so forth? And so oftentimes every year is a new learning experience, and they don't take the time to go back and look at the historical data or the historical points that they've, captured. And you guys have done a great job making it easy to say, okay, you may not have done this and captured, historical data at that point, but we've done it for you. So at least go back and look what terms did work last Halloween, what terms did work last Father's Day or whatever, when people are searching differently. And all of a sudden new keywords surface. Once again, things like you said, have giftables or, terms that are related to Prime Day. So we love it. We're a big fan of it, and I'm glad you brought it up, because if not, I was gonna make sure that you covered this one, because I think a lot of people really don't understand it or just don't take the time to leverage it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also good if anyone wants to sell a seasonal product, because say you're trying to source something for the summer. Well, you're not going to see the summer searches in December, so this is exactly how you're going to see what the keyword demand is for those types of products too. There's just a million things you can do with this particular tool, and you can export the data. It does go back 24 months, but say you wanted to save it for longer, you could export the data and save these. I always like to look at competitors for sure. That's where I've really kind of grown a lot, is seeing what competitors were targeting with their sponsored ads during the holidays, especially, because it gives me an idea of where I was, not I was basically missing out on a lot of sales. So I love this tool. So yeah, if you haven't played around with that, definitely play around with that. Okay. So
that last point you just made real quick, I want to add to it. It's like having an auto campaign where you're asking Amazon to find the terms for you, but you have to spend money to get that learning.
Yeah.
This is giving you that learning based on what your competitors have already been doing. And during the peak period that you're trying to look at, like we talked about. So it's a no-brainer to make sure you're leveraging that.
Yeah. And not only that, you can create some like evergreen type campaigns. And so say you want some, giftable terms, and you start that in September. Well, you're going to be at the top of the search for the sponsored ads. You're going to have a lot more kind of history in your campaign. And so you're going to have more likely chance to be at the top of the search there, and just kind of organically rank there. So it gets you ahead of them, because when you're doing that, when people are searching, you have a lot more competition. It's going to be more expensive. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's such a good tool. Okay. So another one we have is that's new is our Listing Builder AI. So the Listing Builder AI is, I think it's a very helpful tool just to get your listing all written. So we can go in, and I can actually, we'll just edit this. I'll show you what we have in here. with the listing builder AI. So basically what you can do is you'll have a keyword bank, and now you can basically paste these in when you're setting these up, or you can, use a file, or you can also save them on Helium 10 in your keyword list, and you can import them to listing builder here. And then what you'll do is you put the product characteristics, anything that, all the selling points, like, this is, giftable, or it's, durable, or it's whatever it is, you want to put as many of those characteristics here as possible, and it can go up to 500 characters. And then you put your product name. You want to set, you can say, I want to, set a tone here. If you want your listing to be funny or serious or whatever it is, put in your target audience, and you can put as many in there as you need to. And then anything to avoid that, maybe sometimes gets put in there, but you, like, say your product's wooden, but you want to make sure plastic's avoided. Whatever it is you want to avoid, you can avoid there. Or forbidden keywords, you don't want to allow them to say any forbidden keywords. But basically what you can do is, once you've done that, so for example, coffin shelf, durable, black, all those things. Basically what you can do is you can have this written for you. So when you click on write it for you, now it's not going to be too exact because I didn't put too much input in there. The more input you put in is going to be better. But if you click write it for me, it'll give you see, it didn't really give me the right one because it's saying guitar, but it might be because it's in the list here. But basically, you want to put the right keywords in, and then also the right product characteristics, and it'll go ahead and write that in there. So I'm going to just discard that, or you can use the suggestion. What I usually do is I'll put in all the right keywords, and then I'll put in as many product characteristics and basically selling points as I can. And then I'll hit write it for me just to get me started, and then I edit it myself. Because I think the hardest part is just getting started. So having this assistance, you just have it, and it'll help. It'll use your keywords that you put in there, and that's helpful. So you can also do that with the bullet points as well. And I usually use it to kind of get me started, to get some ideas on wording and things like that, and then I edit those as well. If you go down here, you can do a description. You can do generic keywords. If you have your Helium 10 account connected to Amazon Seller Center or Seller Central, you basically can put in the subject matter of keywords maybe that you're not indexing for, and you can hit sync to Amazon, and it'll actually get you indexed within, I think Bradley's done it, it's within 15 minutes usually that you get indexed for those keywords. So it's kind of a trick that we still have access to through the API, but you don't have access on, the flat files and the backend on Seller Central. So that's a really kind of unique little tool there. You also can use this for posts. So it'll be optimized with your keywords. You can just click write it for me, and they'll write some Amazon post ideas for you, like captions, so that you don't have to think about them, and they'll be fully optimized. So that's a really great thing there as well. We also have a way to generate AI images here. For this, I would say mostly it's going to be helpful if you have just your stationary product and then change the background, because it gets kind of wonky with people still. So this is really helpful just to kind of change the background for ads and things like that. Ad creative, different micro seasons, like, I don't know, even just 4th of July was just passed. You can do some patriotic things. You could do, St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day. You could kind of change them throughout the time, and it's super easy to just change the background. And I know we had our founder of PackU said that she saw a huge increase in conversions, clicks and conversions, when they did change the creative to base it on the season. Like, she even showed Duracell batteries. They just basically put the Duracell batteries and changed the background, and they got way more action with that. So it's definitely super easy, super quick.
I've heard that Amazon is indexing based on what they know of the imagery these days. So not only is it going to be better consumer perception, but Amazon's AI is kind of looking at it and kind of piecing it all together on what this product is. So the more you have that correlates, the better. So it's a simple change up, when you can seasonally make it more relevant, right?
Yeah. So all you have to do is put the product with the white background in here, and then you can choose the themes, and it'll create an image for you.
Nice.
The next tool that just got updated is Keyword Tracker. So this was like, I think last week that we updated it. Now you can choose marketplaces. This was not there before. So if you have different marketplaces where you're wanting to track the keywords, you can choose those. And then basically you can get, keyword suggestions and things like that, and you can start tracking different keywords. So you'll go here, suggested keywords. What you would do is you just customize the settings here, and you can say, hey, I want to find, specific keywords, and you set the parameters here. And this is basically going to do a Cerebro search for you every day. And then you can come in and you could say whether or not you want to do it or not. So like shelf decor, probably not. So I would just, trash that one. And then you can just basically get those keyword suggestions every day without actually having to do it. And then this is your keyword tracking here. You can add tags as well to kind of basically group your keywords in different ways that you want based on maybe your launch or different strategies that you're doing. You can create different tags and organize them in whatever way you want. It used to be they used to be called, they had these little stars and it was like, you can write notes in there. So this is just a more kind of customizable way that you can add multiple tags to the different keywords so that you kind of can track them a little bit better. You can still do the boost. So boost is still available. You can basically check every hour on the hour, 24 hours a day and up to 10 days. Once it runs out, you can just, start it again if you want to get those up to date, that up to date information. And then if you scroll over, you can also see, I'll go back up here. You're going to see a lot more information in here than you saw before. So you can see like this was actually there. You can see, how many of the keywords are in the top 50 or the top 10. But if you scroll over, you can also see the Amazon brand analytics, click share, conversion share. You can see add more notes in here, tags. So there's a bit more customization that you can do in here. So we are also going to be adding a heat map in here. We have it in our Market Tracker 360. I don't know if you've seen the Market Tracker 360, but we have like a keyword heat map. So that is coming in the future. So I don't know exactly when that's going to be released, but it should be in the next few months for sure. So you'll be able to see a keyword heat map too. Awesome. You can also, track your competitors in here as well. So really great new tools that you should play around with. But it's going to, it's going to keep, we're going to keep updating it. So it'll be even more amazing.
Is there how Amazon Seller Central is like a news section on your homepage, on the dashboard? It just talks about new updates and such. Is there anything that Helium 10 produces that says, hey, this has been updated, check it out, for our clients to be able to just make sure they're following along?
See, we have this little what's new thing here.
Okay.
Usually we'll do like a little what's new posts here.
Okay.
And then there's also some notifications sometimes. Oh no, those are blurs, but it's under the what's new. These are our kind of posts that we do. And it'll recycle some information as people miss it, but for the most part, that's where the new stuff will come out. I don't think they've released one on the keyword tracker yet, so that will probably be coming out. That's the main place it would be. So, all right, next on my list was the dashboard. Have you guys played around with the dashboard?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a newer set of tools, but basically, what you can do is I love this products view because you can basically see a lot of the information all in one place that you can see in Seller Central. And so for each product, but you can also see kind of compare your products, but you can see, which ones you have your coupons running. You can see your page views. All this is coming in from when you connect your account to Amazon Seller Central. You can see everything broken down by product all in one place. And so I really like to be able to kind of see and keep track of these things all in one spot, as opposed to having to have some data in Helium 10 and then having to click back and forth. You have it all here. And you obviously are going to need to fill in your cost of goods and things like that to get accurate numbers here. But if you expand it down by product, you can also do the keyword suggestions here. So you basically can set up keyword suggest, like the customized settings. You can basically have it suggest more keywords here as well. Now, one thing I will say, it's not connected to keyword tracker yet. So it's going to be, you're going to see different things potentially in keyword tracker. So that is one thing that hopefully they'll connect that soon, but you'll be able to, so if you add something, a suggestion here, you'll be able to see it tracked here in this keyword tracker, but you won't necessarily see it in the actual tool itself.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
You mentioned cost of goods. We were just talking about this earlier today. I feel like a lot of clients just don't, or just sellers in general, they don't take the time to make sure that all of their cost of goods are filled in. They may have updated them at one point and not updated all of the additional SKUs they've added or what have you. And some people may not even know how to update their cost of goods in here to make the most use of it. And without doing that, I think you're missing the boat here. So before you finish the page, I'd love for you to kind of walk people through how to do that as well.
Okay, yeah. So anything you want to set up, let me see if I can remember how to do the cost of goods, because I did mine a while ago. Not sure if it was in the insights settings. I'll have to go back. They kind of changed things around recently, so I don't know if you noticed that too.
I think it might be under the
But-
My Products page, maybe.
It used to be down here, so that's why I'm kind of
No,
could have been under customize.
no, it's not there. I think they did just recently move it.
They did move it. That's why I'm like,
mhm.
why did they do this to me? A good question here, because we've got to wonder if they did something. Nope, not here. Yeah, it used to be down here. I'll have to find out and make sure I get that answered for you, because that's definitely super important.
Yeah.
To do that. But yeah, once you set it up, obviously you're going to change it every now and then when you have a change in cost of goods there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
or
so
new product launches. Mhm.
yeah. So definitely get those in there. And then this is where your suggested keywords, again, you can just trash some that you don't want. And again, this is because people always ask me, how often should I do keyword research? Well, this will help you to kind of keep on top of any new keywords that come in. Competitors, this is a really good way to kind of track your competitors, and you can just kind of add your competitors here. And you can do up to 5 kind of compared to each product. And what you can do is you'll be able to see them here. Let me see if I have them in this. A lot of people use this account, so they get deleted sometimes. So here we have competitors listed here, and you kind of see a brief overview of, what's going on with competitors. But if you wanted to go more in depth, you could click on this competitors tab right here. And it's going to show you all the competitors. It's going to give you a lot more insights onto your competitors that you actually can set up. So you can see the increase, in sales and BSR, and you'll be able to set up these kind of insights to be shown, and it'll kind of highlight just different changes within your competitors. And if you scroll over, you can see everything stacked up on top of each other. So you can see the listing quality score, the price. You can see if somebody has a coupon, so it looks like they have a 10%. So maybe their sales are increasing, or you don't know what's going on. Well, they have a coupon. That could be it. You can see their monthly sales, revenue, ratings, everything all stacked on top of each other, so that you can kind of see what's going on with your competitors without having to literally look at each different listing one at a time. So that one's pretty helpful to just kind of keep tabs on them. If you want to set up insights here, you can create different insights here as well. So there's different types of insights that if you want to see different insights on your own products, you can set them up here. So for example, the keywords, you can set up keyword insights right here, or listing optimization. You can set up different different insights here as well. If the listing is suppressed, all that stuff you can set up in the insights there, or you can also do it in your products. Oh, I'm just gonna go on the dashboard here. You can set up insights on here and customize things up here as well. So that's pretty much the dashboard. It's just basically helping you to be able to sorry, the insights are right here. You can set them up here as well, and you can see them. So basically it's going to help you to see everything all in one place. The alerts that you set up, when you set them up in the actual alerts tool, they'll show up here as well. So if you like, somebody's changed or your image has changed or something like that, your insight will show up on the actual dashboard instead of having to check alerts. So you could potentially turn off your alerts for some of them and just check your dashboard every day, and you'll be able to see the alert come onto the dashboard. So you don't have to check it a bunch of places.
In the keyword tracker, I really like that part where you can add notes to it, sort of like what you're talking about insights now, because if you see a major change, good or bad, on a keyword, put a note there that you can look back to later. You know, a competitor ran a coupon. I ran a coupon, and my organic rank increased, 2 spots for a date that you ran it.
Yeah, that is super helpful to be able to see those things, because a lot of people are like, I don't remember what I was doing or what happened. So there's so much to keep track of. So yeah,
Absolutely.
you're definitely right. Yeah.
Carrie, back to COGS real quick. They got moved under profits.
Under the profits tool?
Yes.
Yes, you're right. They are in the
levels,
profits. Yeah, they were in the other board. So yeah, you can set them up in here. See, it may have changed everything.
Yeah.
Inventory levels, and then it'll show each individual product. And then you can add the COGS and update here. Yep.
Yeah. There's the COGS right there.
Yep. You can do it in bulk on the top right.
You can. That's probably the easiest way to do the importing and export with a CSV, because it does take a long time if you have a lot of different variations. Like I have over 200 SKUs, and it's just too much to do it individually. So yeah.
Sure.
And then I have a few minutes. Can I show you another new update?
Yeah, of course. Take as much time as you need. Our clients use Helium 10 every day. I mean, we're in there every day. So if someone's going to take time to like learn a tool and make sure they're getting the most of it, it's Helium 10. And I feel like there's so much here that it's easy to glance over some really great options. So I appreciate you taking the time to dive in a bit.
I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to share all this stuff. This is another one. I don't know if you've seen it. It's been out for like probably almost a year now. But I remember
a higher level subscriptions to take advantage of this, right?
I think it's Diamond. Yeah.
Oh, I think so. I don't think Platinum allows it.
I don't think Platinum is. You can see the stuff. You can see the click share and conversion share in Cerebro if you have Platinum, but for this one,
I don't think you can. I don't think you can, because all of our clients sign up for their own subscriptions, but we have a Helium 10 Platinum subscription ourselves. And I just checked in Cerebro, and it was
really?
It was blurred out for the ABA share.
Yeah, I think they were in talks about having that be a Platinum thing, but I guess it must not be, unless you have it? You had it connected to an account.
Oh, you know what? That may be the reason, actually, because we don't connect it to an account, because it's what we use to kind of walk people through the basics before they sign up for their own subscription, and then we walk them through how to set up all the individual connections and all the keyword tracking and market tracking and everything else that they're going to do directly for their account after we walk them through it.
Yeah, so that would be why it's not showing up, because the API, you're only allowed to have access to it if you have brand registry.
Yep.
So we can't feed it to everyone. So even if you have Platinum and it's not showing up, it's because you don't have brand registry. So
that totally makes sense. Yep.
All right. So yeah, and the same here. If you don't have brand registry, you can't see this either. But this is really cool because it basically allows you to filter through all of the brand analytics data. And I think there's like 2 million at least lines of different items that you can download every week on search terms and things like that. And I remember when I was at a $1 billion seller summit, everyone was trying to see how they could figure out how to download this and sift through the brand analytics data, because it was really difficult to actually took forever to download it. And it took forever to even figure out how to process through it. And so people were like, oh, I'm going to pay a developer and do this and that, but we basically have it so that you can, by week, you can sort through the brand analytics data here. So you can just choose whatever week you want, and you can sort through it. You can find product ideas. You can search by ASIN. Sometimes I'll put like coffin, shelf, or I'll just put coffin in here, and then phrases containing coffin. And just finding, I think I found a new product. It was like a coffin cat tree, which was actually in here. I don't know if it's in here still, but you can find different kind of product ideas. Like we've got a coffin pool float. I would have never thought of that one.
Mm-hmm.
See here. Yeah, here's a coffin cat tree. And you can see some of these were making, I think, over 100,000 a month or something crazy like that for the coffin cat trees. So
Robert's a big cat guy, so I don't know if he's a big coffin guy, but
yeah. It seems
I would never think of even making something like this, but
yep, nor would I.
The people that like the coffin stuff, a lot of them have cats somehow. There's like a correlation. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's pretty
probably
funny.
black cats.
Yeah. Exactly. So, hey, if you find a niche, this stuff, I'm always baffled that it sells year round, because I was like, oh, it's a Halloween decor, It's year round. I mean, even there's a coffin letter board that we found, and that there was somebody who launched it and they were making like 50,000 this month in sales. Like that's crazy to me. But anyway, so yeah, this is a great way to kind of filter through this, and you can find some really cool ideas. And so what's really cool too is that you can look at the top, clicked and converted products. And if they don't actually match what the keyword is, then you know that there's a good opportunity there for that, keyword and product, because maybe it's not even available yet. So people are searching for a coffin cat tree, and maybe the only thing they can see is like some other kind of a cat, tree thing, but it doesn't have the coffin shaped things in it, something like that. So you can see, what's going on with the different products. So let's see, coffin pool float. You've got these different ones. You can see the top clicked ones and top converted right there. So I really like to do this. You can put ASINs in here. You can filter it down. There's a bunch of ways to filter this information down. You can do it by, the top clicked or the top, top revenue. You can do it by search volume. You can do all that kind of stuff too. You can also see search frequency, and you can see if things are trending up or down. So it gives a lot of really good information. It's a really good way to find. You can also find, other keywords too, or you can use it to find products. It's a lot of great data in here, and it's just week by week. It's going to change every week, so every week's different. So sometimes I'll see more than others, so it fluctuates. But that is, I think, the last one I had for you guys today. We have something else that's coming out, and I'll just tell you ahead of time. And it's on X-ray. It's going to be a way to tell which variations, which child ASINs are selling most. It won't have the actual number of sales, but it'll kind of give you a little circle graph to show you which one has more sales than the others. I sell apparel, and I have, sizes and colors, and it actually matched up. I've tested it out a little bit. It does match up to my top selling SKUs on there, top selling variations. And it'll just give you an indication, like if you're trying to launch a product, you're like, which color is the best one? Which one's selling the best? And then you can kind of see your competitors and see which color.
How do you know that information without the bestseller ranking being shared by child SKU?
I don't know how they did it, to be honest.
Okay.
I always get asked those questions, but I just test it out and see if it matches up my own products. And
will it show the reviews for each child?
It's not. You just have the ones that you can download it, and it's not even showing all your reviews anymore. So just the visible reviews.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wish I would have downloaded all my reviews before, because I didn't do that. Now they're gone. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were talking about the trends. What other ways can sellers look at trends in Helium 10 to decipher, hey, if they're like, let's say, launching a new product in a category, and they're trying to figure out, does it have legs? I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they talked about it was a Helium 10 podcast, and the person was talking about how their product was an accessory to another brand, and that brand declined drastically, and it really impacted their business. They were down like 40% because of it. And I think it's easy to kind of look at current state, but that current state may be on a downward trend. How do sellers fully leverage the data to see whether that's something that is, gaining momentum or declining in momentum?
I will show you. One of the things I do is I look at the historical search too, just to see if it's, is it seasonal? Is it just fluctuating in that way? So you can actually look at the search volume graphs. You can do all time even, and you can just kind of see the ups and downs. So that's a good way to indicate. You can also utilize Market Tracker. So you can set up Market Tracker.
I wouldn't mind showing people Market Tracker 360 too, because not everyone has experience using that. And I think it's a, much more robust option than Market Tracker.
I can do that one would be a full demo for you, and I can come back and do that for you.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Market Tracker 360 is definitely way more data. It's way easier to kind of decipher these things, but this is something that is helpful, especially when you're starting out, to see if I can. It's taking a second here to load, but I'm just going to look at our coffin shelf one. So this will basically kind of show you the market overall. So you can see, if everyone's down. Sometimes we're like, oh, my sales are down, and it's really just them. If you take a look at your overall market, you can see that other people are still selling pretty well, right? So right here, we were the top, we had 64% of the market share, and then we just dropped, and we ran out of stock at that point, I believe. So it really kind of tanked there, but you can kind of see, okay, it's a me problem as opposed to a market problem. And you can see, where the market of other products, are they still selling pretty well? Are they still going up? They still have a good market share.
I feel like a lot of clients, they see a deviation, and the initial impact is to panic. What happened? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to change course and do differently? And I think it's really important to step back and say, well, what's the market doing? Look at the search history, look at the market sales through Market Tracker. And a lot of times it's just a seasonal impact. And even though they're selling this category, they've been doing it for years, they forget about the seasonal volatility that happens. And, if you're on the tail end of the season, you expect it to go down. And what I always like to encourage them to look at is how has it differed this year versus last year? And are you continuing to show improvement in your business? Because we want to capture more market share. That's what we're ultimately, there's going to be the ebbs and flows, but are we capturing more market share as time goes on? Even in the slow times, and the good times, are we clawing and scratching, as Robert probably can correlate to, more business? It's that's the name of the game, is getting a bigger piece of the pie.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, even just with Prime Day, right before and after, it's always kind of down in sales for most people. Exactly. And then everyone's like, why are my sales down? It's like, this actually happens pretty much every year. So it's part of the whole cycle. So yeah, just keeping track of your own numbers. I think that's a good way to do it. Is just look back. What did I do last year?
You gotta wonder if Amazon's actually analyzed the results of that, because as soon as they put that splash screen on Prime Day, it fills up the app. It's like, wait a minute. It's like everyone has time to take pause and say, I can wait. And people are on that app so frequently. Do they really need to get behind the promotional activity as early as they do? I think if it's just anecdotally, my opinion is that they actually jump the gun and get behind it too early, and it slows down business, and they'd probably be better served to just wait until later to get behind it, the marketing of it.
Yeah, I think they like it because they make a lot of money in ad spend, but it doesn't really help sellers as much as it does maybe Amazon.
That's a
Maybe it
good
depends
point.
on your strategy, but like overall during the month, it slows down. And then
Yeah.
before and
Yeah.
after, unless you do massive amounts,
Hmm.
it's really not worth it. So it's kind of an interesting thing there.
One thing I know, Helium 10 has different components that will help on Walmart, like a
Mhm.
Cerebro and so forth. What do you find may differ on Walmart versus Amazon when you're looking at the business? Are there some things that people are overlooking on how to kind of analyze the Walmart business and get the most out of it?
There isn't as much obviously for Walmart as there is
Hmm.
on Amazon.
Hmm.
But we do have Cerebro. Now they just changed this a little bit. And we're actually going to maybe changing it again a little bit, but I'll show you. Let's see if I can find something. I always do garlic press and
How that became like a popular reference point for Amazon sellers, I'll never know.
I think it was amazing that course that came out a long time ago. I think they
Yeah,
did a garlic press or something.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So if I just copy the product ID and I'll do a reverse product ID search on Walmart, then you can see the search volume. And right now it's like gone back to this kind of range here. It used to be numbers, but now it's gone back to range. And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to do more of a scale actually. I think that'll come out in the next few weeks. So we're still working with Walmart to get the right
Mhm.
kind of picture of what people can look at to give a good indication of what, to utilize. But even the low and very low kind of keywords, I still put them in campaigns and still make sales on them if they're very relevant. So with Walmart, I always do for any ads, I do exact searches and I do exact campaigns because I found that they've done very well. And then once you find the phrases that do start doing well, then you can start putting them into, the phrase and broad match and kind of expanding out that way. But that's kind of how I've kind of done it a little bit slower than other people. And a lot of people get on Walmart and they're like, why am I not even spending at all? Sometimes it's hard to spend on Walmart because it
Yeah.
could be a lower search volume. So it's a little bit harder. So sometimes you just kind of set it and just let it run for a few weeks and then it sometimes will get traction. Now, if you don't get any impressions, it's because you might be in the wrong product type. So product type is really, really important. And now Walmart has expanded so you can kind of choose your product types now with the new item spec that they have to upload your products.
A lot more
So
in depth.
yeah. So you can kind of choose them a little. They're not still as detailed, but you can get probably more reach that way. So that is a good thing. But yeah, so I usually do exact keyword research for Walmart. I also think that something that's overlooked is all the attributes. And I don't necessarily have a tool on Helium 10, but if you go and search your actual product on Walmart, so for example, garlic press, and this probably isn't as good of for attributes, but like let's do like men's t-shirt. A lot of times you can see a lot of different attributes that are going to be something that you would fill in on the back end. So like obviously size, but like color here, if your color is something, close to the main colors in here, you can do that. And then, just kind of see what the options are here. See if you have at least one that's kind of in the main filter option. But then anything else, like for example, if it's green, but maybe it's like a teal color, do like teal, aquamarine, aqua, all the kind of similar keywords to that. Just do as many attributes as possible to describe everything in the back end. So that's something that I think is going to be helpful that maybe isn't as visible on the, a search volume level, but because they have all these attributes and they put things on different shelves and you'll be able to show up more places when you fill in all the attributes. So
yeah.
Some people have asked me, to look at their listings and they haven't filled in the attributes in the back. And so they don't get as much traction. And once they do, they start to see more traction. So that is something that, to think about. With Helium 10, this is the best starting point is the Cerebro tool. Gives you kind of an indication of, is it a high volume type of product? Maybe not. Garlic press is pretty, is definitely high. But obviously the longer tail keywords, there not as many longer tail keywords that are going to be as successful on Walmart. I think it is expanding because they did open to a relevancy model. So there are some more, it is kind of changing a little bit, but yeah, this is.
I know you're a big Walmart seller as well. And I feel like there's too many clients that, I say clients, I mean sellers in general, that they add their Amazon catalog to Walmart and expect it to perform well. They don't take the time to optimize for Walmart's algorithms. And one of the beauties of Walmart is they actually disclose the listing quality score and give you suggestions on how to improve the score. And you can basically see it right away on whether it worked or didn't. And, there's a couple key things that are really impactful, like the WFS. If you are participating, that's a big chunk of the listing quality score. The reviews are a big chunk of the listing quality score. And then it's like you said, all the attributes and everything else. And what people don't always realize is what Amazon algorithms are looking for on one product, like let's say a garlic press, might be very different than apparel or electronics or even within, like, let's say you're selling supplements within a vitamin supplement versus a multivitamin. It may be wanting very different information or a different format, and you really need to be striving to get a high listing quality score. We are often not able to work with our clients and get them to over 95%, and it's a game changer. It really matters, and I think that's commonly overlooked.
It's definitely overlooked. Especially even if you just change your title so it's not stuffed. I've seen people get a lot more visibility that way. So that's definitely really important. Something else, if you want to do seller fulfilled, there's FedEx Advantage too. I don't know if you have any of your clients on that, but you get the pricing of Walmart through FedEx for the 2-day shipping. 2-day shipping is super important. If you're not doing fast shipping, then it's going to be harder for you to be visible. Walmart just prioritizes fast shipping and pricing. So those are some things that you also have to think about. But I think the more that you focus on Walmart, the more you're going to get out of it. If you just kind of throw it up there, copy it and paste it, it's just not going to be the same. So they do give you a lot of tools to help. And say you even, like I have one product that's done pretty well that I use more as my kind of test show product, and it does a little over 100,000 a year. And that's just one product. So think about if you had 10 of those products, maybe did 20 of those products. You've got a pretty good business there, even though it's not maybe as much as your Amazon business, it's still pretty substantial. So
we've got some clients that do millions of dollars on Walmart on an annual basis. And it may be a small percentage of their Amazon business, but who's going to walk away from millions of dollars in business, right? You want to be there. And we always like to say, be where your customers are spending their time and money. And my belief is that there's just some customers that they're walking into Walmart every day. They think of Walmart for certain product categories, and it really differs as far as your success. You may sell something that's really kind of an inexpensive item you associate with Walmart to do really well, and like a premium high-end product that just hardly does anything on Walmart just because the consumer mindset is not looking there. But if you understand that you've got these different customer segments, they're shopping in different places, I need to be there, then you do your best to present your brand in the best, to be optimized for that conversion, whether that's Amazon or Target or Walmart or eBay or TikTok shop, whatever, where are your customers spending their time and money? And let's make sure the brand looks the best possible and we're capturing as much sales as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when some sellers I interviewed, they had just started and they were already doing like 200,000 a month or something like that. And they said their goal every time they launch a product is to get the pro seller badge. And so they optimize it fully. And their goal is to make that, it was 250 sales every 90 days, but now it's down to 100 sales every 90 days. But that gives you even more visibility too. And you get refunds on your referral fees, a lot of good reasons to do that. But just kind of having those, just kind of starting with some goals on Walmart, I think is helpful, because other people you're like, I'm just not sure. So it doesn't work as well if you don't focus on it and get it going the right way.
On the flip side, there are a lot of a lot of sellers that they just want to be everywhere fast, and then they spend too much time and energy in the wrong channels and don't optimize the most on the big 800-pound gorillas like Amazon. So we like to say, if you're not 80 to 90% where you need to be on Amazon, hold off on the other marketplaces, have a roadmap, whether it's international expansion or other domestic marketplaces, but get where you need to be on Amazon first. And that way, when you lift and shift your catalog to other marketplaces, you're not having to do full optimizations on those. You're just tweaking your optimizations you already done on Amazon, for example.
Yeah,
So it's a balancing act.
it definitely is.
So I think we've covered all the things you wanted to review, and I know you only have a few more minutes. Team, do you want to cover any additional questions for Carrie?
Carrie, I've got a question for you in relation to events. And when I say events, Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, are there things that you do on Helium 10 that are different for those specific things compared to how you use it for the rest of the year? Cerebro, obviously, Cerebro, but some of the other things, do you look at keyword tracking? Do you look at things differently for events?
I mostly look at the historical trend. That's the main thing I focus on.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. And that's when Steve brought that up early in the very beginning of this webinar. That's where the reason I asked the question, because like he said, a lot of people just don't look at those kinds of things, and they really should. They are to see, where was I tracking on this keyword, 2 weeks before,
right.
Before Prime Day last year. And it was a good keyword for me on Prime Day. So I need to spend and get my organic ranking up for it.
Right. Yeah. So that's why the historical trend, if you just put Prime in there, like I was even looking at the Tyneco vacuums that sell super well on Prime Day. And usually it's probably from TikTok and things like that. I purchased one. They got me. I purchased that vacuum mop thing. But if I took their ASIN and I did a search on Prime, and they're ranked very, very low for a lot of the Prime Day keywords, like Prime Day vacuum, and their sponsored rank is, pretty high as well. But if they had just kind of created a campaign ahead of time, started advertising on those words, and started kind of seeing where they rank, and kind of building their organic rank on those keywords, they probably could increase quite a bit. So, and also another strategy too is some people will do coupons and things before and after, and they'll keep a track of their actual ranking. And sometimes people do better with their ranking because they have those coupons or like discounts before Prime Day, they're still selling. So then their rank actually improves. So that's something to track as well. Because I have talked to some sellers who that has happened for. It's just that improved rank because of their deal before.
Yeah. And that's a really good point. I have a client when he first started with us, who all he would look at was his bestseller ranking. He said, "Oh, if my bestseller ranking improves, it means I'm doing well." And I said, "Yes, you are absolutely right, but you don't know why you did well with it. Was it because of the coupon? Did you spend a little bit more on this organic, on this phrase, and you increased your organic ranking? That's why you use keyword tracker." And stuff like that. So it made total sense to him, but these were things he just didn't know about.
And the dashboard too, you can take a look as you get more page views, more sessions. What is it?
Yeah,
keeping track of all that. Yeah.
Yep.
And why did you get that?
And market tracker as well too. Market tracker gives a lot of good insight there too. I mean, again, it's looking at everything, right, and kind of putting that picture together. Like I've got a client right now that sales have kind of declined, and we recently started doing more lightning deals and more best deals. And so, I think the first thing I look at whenever something happens like that, what have you changed? Have you changed any content? Have you changed your images? What have you done change-wise that could have affected sales? But, but as you mentioned earlier, the first thing I look at is market tracker. Is everybody down or just we down? And then and kind of go from there.
Yeah. And Market Tracker 360 shows that very well, just the overall market.
Yes.
Yeah. And, just for people that are panicked, and if they do feel like it's their business that's down, I want to remind everybody the data will tell you what's going on. Essentially, is it a session issue? Is it a click-through rate issue? Is it a conversion rate issue? Look at the historical data over time that Amazon has available to you in your business reports, and oftentimes you can really hone in on what's going on. And if it's traffic, it's I got to get advertising refined, or I need to do something more on organic. And then you can look at those independently. Was it, look at the metrics just for advertising and see if that was where the impact occurred, or maybe it's a price change and now your click-through rates have gone down, or a main image change and that caused your click-through rates to suffer. The data kind of points it out to you. And I think a lot of times sellers just kind of start guessing. They kind of start throwing darts, and we really want them to always be looking at the historical information, all the tools to decipher what's going on before you panic and make a bunch of changes, because otherwise you could literally swing the pendulum the wrong direction. And, for example, on advertising, you could lower your bid amount and get no impressions on that anymore. Or on the flip side, you could advertise too broadly and get a whole bunch of impressions and at a very poor conversion rate. And now you've actually built up negative metrics to Amazon because all of a sudden they think your conversion rate sucks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that sellers can do accidentally to put themselves in a bad situation if they don't look at the data.
I have an example of that too. I was thinking about changing my main image, and I was talking to Bradley, and I was going back and forth about different ideas to change the main image. And then he was like, wait, what's your main keyword? So we searched the main keyword, and he's like, all three of your products are top 3 clicked on there. It's, there's no problems with your main image kind of thing. And that was like, oh, I was like, oh man, because I was going to these webinars and they were like, oh, you can increase your, your click-through rate if you're doing this and that. And I was like, I got to change something. And when I realized I actually was doing the right thing, because the data shows, even though I was just kind of like listening to these outside voices, like, oh my gosh, maybe I need to do something. But if you look at the data, don't change that, so you got to really be kind of aware of all the numbers and what's actually happening instead of just going and changing something.
Yeah, for sure.
Steve and I are both ex-Amazonians, and that's the thing that they instill. It's the data. Everything is about the data. There's no emotion. Take the emotion out of it. Look at the data. You might like the picture, but if it doesn't give you sales, you're not going to like your paycheck. There, so
exactly,
about the data.
Yep.
And where was I going with this? I just drew a blank. You brought up a point earlier I wanted to reiterate, but the shiny object syndrome. That's where I wanted to go. I feel like sellers get into that all the time. It's like, oh, this other seller's doing this, or I heard at this conference that to do this, and it's just like, are you focusing on the core objectives of running your business? And always test and learn, but don't get caught up in too many shiny objects that are going to derail you from doing what you really need to do. And now all of a sudden you don't have the inventory you need, or you didn't pay attention to this new competitor because you were focused on the wrong things.
Yep,
Very
exactly.
important.
Yeah, that is something. Always consider, is this information I need? You just get bombarded with information, especially going different places. And you're like, oh, I got to do all this stuff. But sometimes changing things isn't going to work for you. It's going to put you in a bad position. And so we always have to kind of slow down a little bit, see what's working, what is working, what's going well. And then maybe the things that aren't going well, or maybe you're not even doing, you could try those to boost sales.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, shiny object syndrome is a hard one for me because I hear a lot of stuff all the time.
Well, I know we're at the top of the hour, so I really want to, once again, thank you for joining us today. It was really helpful. I'm sure a lot of our clients will watch this on YouTube and live streaming on Facebook and so forth. And I think you shared some great insights that not everyone is using day in, day out on Helium 10 because there's just so much to it. And I hope people took away some great things from this. So it's been wonderful having you on, and
thank you.
And look forward to having you join us again sometime.
Yes, Market Tracker 360, hopefully.
Exactly.
Great.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Carrie.
Carrie. Thanks,
For now.
everybody.
We'll share
Take care.
our contact screen. If you want to reach out for any help, we'll be happy to help you at primeguidance.com. And we'll be sharing a splash screen here momentarily. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.